Not that kind of Christian here. The Sash My Father Wore. End of chapter 5, part 2. Remember, this chapter is called My Demons. So the second part, I'll restart just a little bit earlier in the text, and this is really quite short. It's just the end of the chapter, okay? Mum was standing at the Hoover twin tub, transferring steaming washing into the integral spin dryer, when he burst in through the back door, grabbed her round her tiny waist, lifted her right off her feet. She dropped the steaming white sheet back into the tub, together with the wooden tongs. Her face lit up, and her yellow marigold gloves spread white soap suds all over Dad's overcoat. I watched as the two of them separated in the neon light of the small kitchen. Mum was crying with happiness as she looked down at me, the smile not leaving her fully made-up lips. Her mascara had started to run where she'd been crying, and she looked a bit like a panda at the local zoo. I smiled, feeling good for Dad as well. Mum's face changed after she heard Dad's wonderful news. Dunking the tongs back into the top-loading drum of the machine, she continued to pull out wet, colourful items. Nearly midway through the latest of the tangle, she stopped, separating out a pair of women's knickers, only to run them through the mangles, squeezed out the water, and then look at the garment a second time. She looked confused, quizzical in point of fact. At that moment, Dad was hanging up his overcoat on the dark wooden coat stand with a mirror built in. She called him to come back into the kitchen as she had something she wanted him to see. She sounded shocked, even a little upset as she stood looking at the frilly, multi-coloured knickers she'd now laid on the draining board, like an exhibit placed in evidence in a courtroom. Minus his top coat now, Dad stood in front of me, looking at the knickers on the stainless steel draining board. "Who do these belong to?" she asked Dad, instantly adding, "Because they're not mine, David." Dad looked concerned as he replied, "Never seen them before in my life, darling." Mum did not look convinced. Turning to me, she asked, "You know anything about these, James?" My throat tightened. My mouth went dry, and in a shaky voice I answered, "Yes, Mum, I do." End of chapter 5. The Sash My Father Wore. Copyright Anthony E.C. Linford. Chapter 6, which will follow shortly, is at the moment titled Pastor Frank James III. Please do pass this on and any of the other episodes in this story if they do appeal to you. Bye.